Lads. Lads, welcome back to the channel for a brand new match preview. Today we are previewing Newcastle United versus Sheffield United at St James's Park, which is taking place tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. I can confirm that this is the last crazy midweek kickoff, as we've got only one more game of the season left after this one at Sunday at home to Burnley. Obviously, fans can go into that. We've already spoken that. It's quite sad that our Premier League journey is coming to an end, but I think a lot of people out there will also be very, very happy that we're no longer having to see our team lose so many games. Anyway, before I crack on into talking about the game, I will bring in Mr. Hal Stewart. How are you doing, Hal Stewart?
I'm buzzing after watching the youngsters, the under-23s, get that PDL playoff semi-win, 4-0 over Ipswich. That's the north side of the PDL semi. The south side has seen technically a Midlands club, but Birmingham beat Bristol City. So that means that we, as the under-23s, will face Birmingham under-23s in the final.
Do you say we as the under-23s? When was the last time you were under 23?
We as Sheffield United, of course, I am a long way away from being under 23, as actually some of the people that have represented the under 23s have been as well. How old is Lee Moussa? He can't be under 23, surely.
I think he's about 47, isn't he?
If he's a day, yeah. And as you quite rightly said, 6 p.m, a really annoying kickoff for so many that work for this game against Newcastle. And our watch-along starts on this channel even earlier, 5:30 p.m. So it's going to be a proper race back from work for Nick and I on Wednesday.
Not for me, sir. Not for me.
Working from home.
Working from home. So I finish at 5:30. I start the stream at 5:30.
Nice.
So let's see how that works.
No time for a pee.
No, not really. Well, I didn't have one last time for the watch.
All right, let's not get into it.
Neither did you.
Detail. No, I didn't. It was incredible. I tell you, we felt it afterwards. You went straight into the match reaction as well. Respect.
I did.
It's working overtime.
I think we've just got used to it. I think we've trained our bodies through these watch-alongs to retain the urine anyway. I'm going to stop saying urine. And I'm going to talk about the Everton game. Not for long, because we've already spoken about it in the watch-along, on my match reaction, on the fans react. We've spoken a lot about it. Normally these games, we don't want to dissect too much because we've been so bad. But in this one, it's just great to talk about it because obviously Jefferson got the winning goal, 17-year-old lad on his first start. And that is actually, he's the youngest player to score on his full debut. So when he started the game, which is excellent. It's great that we've got a Sheffield United player that's taken that crown and a striker, because we don't bring a lot of strikers through Sheffield United. Only Jordan Slew, nobody else. Anyway, so it wasn't just him that had a great game. Even though he got the man of the match, I thought he had a great game. But I think Rammers spoke volumes in that video on social media because he definitely deserved that man of the match. Didsey also played brilliantly. Aussie all over the place, Fleck all over the place. The defence just launched themselves at everything. But like I said, we're not going to talk too much about it. We've already done a hell of a lot of talking about it. So all I'll say is well done, Blades, and we'll move on to last time out.
Yeah, it wasn't great, was it? 3-0 Newcastle beat the Blades. This was one of our worst defensive displays of the entire season after that restart. Particularly, we started so slow, capped by a red card shown to John Egan 5 minutes after the break. Allen sent Maximan, sent them on their way, fired home at the far post. I remember it was Ender Stevens who just kind of inexplicably allowed Matt Ritchie's low cross to go between his legs, sort of swipe kicked. Ritchie then himself added a second thunderous strike from the edge of the area. And Joelinton, and that is how you say it, scored only his second Premier League goal, which was just so embarrassing that we conceded to him on 78. It is how you say it. I've got friends who are Brazilian, and they say it's not Joelinton, it's Joelinton. You pronounce the emphasis is in the middle of the word.
I don't care about your Brazilian friends, Hal.
Well, let's hope they're not watching the channel, but it is Joe Ellington, and that's how I will be saying it throughout the entirety of the watch along.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No. Right, you'll be doing that on your own then, unless somebody
please.
else wants to jump in. There's definitely someone else that you've said recently that's completely different to what I ever thought it was.
There's been a few, hasn't there? Yeah. Who was it?
I don't know who it was, but I was like, he's still saying it. He's still saying it. Why does he keep saying it?
Oh, it was Lo Celso.
No, it was Lo Celso.
It's Giovanni Lo Celso, also the correct way for how to say it. Anyone South American watching any of these previews will agree with me. Pop in the comments. Yes, Hal is right.
What was that?
I don't know, that didn't work.
Borat? Is Borat from
Borat
South America?
Borat knows his stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, we'll move on to team news because, well, actually, nothing's changed. Ollie Burke, fractured foot. Ethan Ampadu, pelvic issues still. Jack O'Connell, pretty much out for the season. Billy Sharp out for the season. Ollie McBurney out for the season. Sander. Now, Sander is the only player that we're not 100% sure about. He obviously missed the last game, wasn't even on the bench. So he may, again, miss the game. We don't know. Hecky Bum, the last time he spoke about Sanderberger, he didn't sound like he was out for the season. So who knows? I'd like to see him back, but at the same time, can you really change a winning side, Hal? I'm not sure you can.
You don't want to unless there's injuries that are forcing your hand.
And it's possible. It's possible because we've not heard Heckingbottom talk yet. We are recording this before he said anything. So let's crack straight into what the team lineup's going to be, we reckon. Ramsdale in the goal. Basham, Egan, Robinson, Baldock, Stevens, Norwood, Osborne, Fleck, McGoldrick. Got to be Jebbo. Jebbo's got to be still in there. Surely. He's done enough, hasn't he, Hal? He's definitely done enough to keep his place.
Well, with the thing with Jebbo, a lot of people have been saying online, putting a young lad in, and also it was put to Heckingbottom in the presser. Can Jebison play 3 Premier League games in a row? Of course, he had his debut when he came on as a sub, started, and then I guess the insinuation would be plays this game and then the final game against Burnley. He's 17. I know when you were 17, you'd be fit after an hour of running around for 90 minutes. And even when I was a kid, you'd play football in the garden from sort of 8 in the morning till it got dark. And then everyone went in for the tea and you weren't even sweaty and you'd do it all again the next day. You never felt like sore or stiff the next day. That happens when you get to about 30. So he'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I've played numerous games back to back. Do you know, playing 5-a-side and 7-a-side and stuff? When I was younger, obviously, again, we're both in our 30s. It's not going to happen anymore.
No.
But no, especially not with ankle issues and all sorts of issues like...
You're falling apart.
Yeah, weight gain, everything. It's not good. Me and Hal's already spoken about this off air as well. So
yeah.
But we won't carry on after this. Anyway, so next up, opposition, Hal. What's Newcastle going to play and what team news is happening?
Newcastle will remain without striker Callum Wilson, which I think is a very good thing for the Blades. He's going to miss the remainder of the season. He's got a hammy. Wilson is not Bruce's only absentee. Centre-back Jamal Lascelles remains out. Also, goalkeeper Carl Darlow. That's a little bit of my Steve Bruce impression. Midfielder Isaac Hayden and Ryan Fraser is out as well. We've got Fabian Schär going to be serving the final match of his 3-game suspension. So they do have a lot of players out, but they've got Joe Willock, the Arsenal loanee, as an option. He netted his 5th Premier League goal in his last 5 Premier League appearances from midfield. So he's dangerous. We've got to watch out for him. I think the starting lineup will be Dubravka in goal, Kraf, who scored his first Premier League goal the other day, Fernandez, Paul Dummett, Murphy, Willock, who I've just mentioned there, John Joe Shelby, Almiron, Richie, Joe Ellington, and Saint Maximin, ASM.
Wait a second. So you know how to say Joe Linton, but you didn't even bother trying to work out how you say St. Maximum.
Is that how you say it?
St. Maxim.
So you don't know either. What are you talking about?
You're doing the research. I'm doing the Sheffield United team. I know all that. Oh God, Sanderberger. Don't bring Sanderberger up anyway.
Berge.
Let's move on. It's not, but let's move on.
Yes.
Your Norwegian friend don't know what he's talking about.
He does.
Anyway, move on to score predictions, mate.
He rang me up and he said, "It is a Centerberg." It's all the same accent.
Borat again.
Borat again. Trust Borat.
Yeah. You and Sacha Baron Cohen like that. Score prediction. We both went for a horrendous defeat in the last game.
We both predicted a 3-0 tonking, didn't we?
Are we going to say that again?
For good luck?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, they beat us 3-0 last season. Newcastle 3, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, we've got no chance. We're rubbish in the last game. So that means we're going to be rubbish again. 3-0 defeat. Fingers crossed. Yep. Something else.
You should tweet a Blades win and then write something like, good joke.
Good joke. I didn't even remember that. It was you throwing me under the bus. But no, that was brilliant. Right. Anyway, so we've both gone 3-0.
Yeah, we're sticking with that. And I'll take you back now to a memorable match in 1994, the 30th of April, Nick. A 2-0 win to Sheffield United over Newcastle United in the Premier League. Just under 30,000 in beautiful downtown Bramall Lane for this one. 2 goals, a brace from Nathan Blake on 63 and 90. A really great day with some wonderful players playing for the Red and White Wizards. Simon Tracy in goal, our record Premier League appearance maker Carl Bradshaw at the back, Paul Beasley, Roger Nielsen, Dave Tuttle, who was replaced by Glyn Hodges. I don't know why I called him Dave. I've always called him David up until that moment. John Gannon, Paul Rogers, Dane Whitehouse, my main man Mitch Ward, Nathan Blake, and Joe Flo up front.
Joe Flo?
Jostein Flo. Yeah.
I used to call him Justin Flo when I was a kid.
It's like misheard chants. You know, I've told you one or two before. I can't repeat one that my dad misheard about Steve Bruce on this one. But there was that, that she fell over.
Yeah.
I always used to think that was cheat fell over.
It works.
It does.
Works. For football these days, especially.
Well, mine's not sexist, absolutely. And that Newcastle team did contain a Blades supporter, John Beresford, who Alan Shearer, when I spoke to him the other day, told me he's an absolutely massive Sheffield United fan. And I've actually met John Beresford, of course I have, at Hillsborough, that game that Tungy scored that goal, which I can't use the other hand to show you.
That one?
Yes. Yeah, he was there. He was there in the Leppings Lane with the Blades.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. We love that. Anyway, let's go for players that don't support United but have played for United and Newcastle United. Yeah, I definitely pulled that off then.
Nicely done.
I'm going to go, first of all, for friend of the show, Mr. Wayne Quinn. He's been in a podcast. If you haven't checked that out already, please do so. He played 139 games for the Blades, scored 6 goals, and then only made 15 appearances for Newcastle, 0 goals, 1 cap for England B. And it was a bit of a weird one because even Wayne spoke about it, that he was one of our best players. And Neil Warnock just let him go on loan to Newcastle. I always found that really, really weird. What do you think about that, Hal?
I think it was more a case of Kenny Dalglish would have said, look, we want to buy him, but we want to take a look at him first. And by doing that, the Blades would have thought, well, we'll get a bit of money. And that was kind of all the board at that time were interested in.
But that would never happen these days.
I think it's unlikely with a seasoned pro. It's not uncommon with a youngster, but with a seasoned pro, it's definitely a surprise. And by that point, Wayne Quinn was a mainstay of the Sheffield United defence. So, yeah, I agree with you. It was a real surprise.
Yeah. Bit of a weird one. Who are you going for first?
Well, it's really hard. But by the way, do pop in the comments down below players that we miss out who have played for both. We only ever pick 2 each, so it's not so much that we don't know any others. We're just going for 2 each because otherwise the video becomes very long. But there aren't too many that played for both, certainly not in our lifetime. But the legend, the on-loan legend, David Edgar, not to be confused with Edgar Davids. He played 36 games for the Blades between 2015-16 season, as you can see with that horrible Blades kit he's wearing. He did score 2 goals for us, and then, as is often the case, he was transferred a well-trodden path from Bramall Lane to the Vancouver Whitecaps.
But he was Canadian, wasn't he? So he obviously wanted to go back home. But I think he came back and forth, to be honest. And in all honesty, mate, I don't think he was terrible.
Yeah, you're right. He did come back to the UK. You're right. He played with Hartlepool after that.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm sure we've done a video on him before, and I've mentioned that, but I couldn't remember which team it was. But yeah, like I say, I wouldn't have been adverse to him kind of coming back the season after. I don't think he was terrible.
I think the way his career path played out after he left us shows that we did make the right decision, because even with Vancouver Whitecaps, they sent him down to their second team. Then he went to Nashville FC, the Ottawa Fury, teams like that. So I think we made the right call.
Yeah, possibly. But you could also say that about players like Paul Coots or Mark Duffy. Chris Wilder made them into club legends, really.
Yeah,
so you never know. It could be David Edgar, the Sheffield United legend we could be talking about. But we're not. Anyway, we're talking now about good old Gary Speed.
This is a club legend, Nick.
Maybe not for us, but definitely for Newcastle. Because he only played 37 games for us. It feels like a lot longer. But he managed to get 6 goals in that time, which is brilliant because, I'm trying to think. Would you say he was a defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, or just a box-to-box player? I think he was more of a box-to-box player, but because he was getting on a bit, he kind of strolled into the box, scored a goal, wiped himself down, and got back on with it.
If you were playing Championship Manager, he was an MCL.
An MCL. Okay.
Yeah, because he could play on the left, but definitely in his Leeds days, he'd have been considered an attacking midfielder. And as is often the case, as a player gets older, they drop back, and he was much more of a defensive midfielder for Bolton and for the Blades. And I thought he was just fantastic for us. And when he did score goals, they were usually spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a proper pro. Proper pro. 213 games for Newcastle, 29 goals. What a player. He also played 85 games for Wales as well, scoring 7 goals. And obviously, he moved on to become Sheffield United manager. Maybe not as successful as he would have liked to, but he moved on to becoming the Wales manager. So, yeah, it's obviously you want to be the Wales manager over the Sheffield United manager in going into League One.
Well, certainly a fantastic player for club and country, a Welsh legend. Sadly, no longer with us. Actually passed away on my wife's birthday. So it's one that my wife and I regularly remember. And I'm wearing this shirt in honour of him. I'm going to give you my final player choice that played for both, Nick. Ian Rush, MBE. Not particularly memorable for Newcastle, 10 games, no goals, and 4 games whilst on loan for the Blades in 1998. 4 appearances, no goals. Of course, really, he's best remembered for his 2 spells, technically 3 if you count a loan period, at Liverpool. But he actually began his career at Chester City. And when he played for Juventus, he said it was like living in a foreign country.
Brilliant. Just brilliant. He was a great striker, wasn't he? But he's not remembered too fondly by Sheffield United fans. Anyway, let's move on finally to managers that have managed both clubs. Now, I could only find one that actually managed both clubs completely, permanently, and that is Mr. Steve Bruce. He's still the manager of Newcastle United. Managers between 98 and 99. Played 55, won 22, drawn 15, lost 18. So actually, pretty good. And I remember him being quite a decent manager for the Blades. Obviously, he was less rotund at that point, just finishing his career at Sheffield United and then went into management. And obviously, still a Newcastle manager. Done quite well, to be honest. I think everyone wrote him off. Everyone thought he was going to be the first casualty in the 2019-2020 season, last season. But played 79, won 23, drawn 22, lost 34. So it's not terrible.
Kept them in the league. I think I could think of another one, not a permanent manager. John Carver.
John Carver. He was on my list. You've just ruined my list, Hal. But no, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he managed both clubs at one point. And I think when he was the Blades manager, he was Blades manager for like 3 games or something like that. But I felt like he kind of resurged the team. He give them a kick up the backside. And that's all you really need from a caretaker manager. I think probably Chris Morgan's done that a few times for us, just giving them a kick up the backside, because that was definitely a player that he was, wasn't he?
A backside kicker, absolutely.
Yeah, he kicks more things and elbowed more things as well, but we'll not speak about that.
Well, I didn't speak about that.
I said we won't speak about it. We're a team, Hal. You've
right.
Just said
So
we're a team.
when you drag me through the mud, I have to go with you. Got you.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. We'll get dirty together. Don't worry. Anyway, I think that's us done. Make sure you come and join us at 5:30 tomorrow. If you're just finishing work, don't worry. We will be there. We'll be there for a good 2.5 hours, 3 hours maybe, if we actually win a game. Because we like to celebrate. We've not had much of that this season.
It's the best bit.
It is the best bit. So make sure you leave a like on this video before you go, guys. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do so. And we will see you next time.